Good evening. I'd like to call to order the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners meeting for Tuesday, December the 13th, 2011. Ms. Ward will bring our invocation, and Commissioner Evans will bring our place to the flag. Please stand.
Let's bow our heads. Father, we are here today to ask for your blessing and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented. Make our solutions fair and just to the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment of the city and its people. We pray in your name. Amen.
Face the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our first order of business tonight is one that we have mixed feelings about. We're sad to lose Will Evans as one of our commissioners. He has been faithful and loyal, always willing to do anything that's asked of him. He has represented his district, and he has represented the city of Griffin well. It is my honor to be able to give him a plaque tonight, and Will tells me that this is just a respite, that he will be back. So we hope that we wish him many happy hours during this respite, none in the hospital, Will. No. And lots of good health and good travels, and we look forward to you returning someday. On behalf of the City Commission, I would like to present you with this flag. How about right here? Is this all right? Okay, very good.
We're going to put that up.
That's right. It's going to be our motto.
That's what we should put on the water tower.
Now, give us
Keep doing what you're doing.
It's kind words.
Yes.
What do you think?
What I would like to say, I've been a pleasure serving on the board for the last 4 years. I have a good group to work with. We are not always seeing eye to eye at time, but we got the job done. Myself, I had a few ups and downs in the hospital, but like I told Ms. Todd, I get out and do what I got to do with my walking and all, get my strength and everything back. But I shall return. I will return, no doubt about it, to God's will. And also enjoy working with the staff. You guys, you're good guys. I really enjoy working with you. Sometimes, you probably look at me like, what? But, it was all right. It's good. And Ms. Flowers going to take the seat. Cora, Cora, thanks a lot for Cora. She should be able to, she's going to handle this. Indeed. And I'm going to be wishing her well. We got a lot of stuff coming up in the future, the commissioners, and I feel they get together and do what they got to do. But I don't want to take up too much of your time, but it's been a pleasure serving the city of Griffin.
Thank you, Will. One of the things that we're going to miss about Will is he always told people that they had done a good job. And when Will says that, you know that you have done a good job. And let's hope that one of these commissioners, the remaining ones of us, take that phrase up so that you know that you will have done a good job and we're proud of you. Thank you. All right, our second order of business is to recognize Benji Farlow of the Fire Department as the November 2011 Strongest Link Award recipient. Chief Tommy Jones will address.
Good evening, Commissioner.
Good evening.
I'm so proud to bring Benji Farlow before you tonight. Benji and I came into the department pretty close together back in the late 80s, and we were friends prior to coming to the city. So he and I have a very long working relationship, and he's always done an outstanding job for the city. And I asked for him to be recognized this month because of what he did for us last month during the Griffin Spalding County Humane Society's chili cook-off. Benji
Yeah.
has taken this off as his project. He takes quite a bit of pride in doing that chili cook-off, and he represents us well. He even won it last year, year before last. He won.
Hey, and it was good this year. He should have won.
Oh, he's got the best out there. There's no doubt about it. But
I
he takes a
voted
lot
for
of
him.
pride in that event. Plus, he does a really great job in our department. So we are so proud to present Benji with the Strongest Link Award. There you go, sir. Get to keep that for a month.
Don't get it wear it. You gotta wear it.
Plaque and a little token of our appreciation. Let's have He brought a big entourage of friends with him today to support him and his family here, and he has asked for 5 minutes for a speech. 5 minutes. But you can't say it.
Well, Benji, I ate your chili again this year out there. I have. It's excellent. And to quote a famous commissioner we have here, you're doing a good job. Keep doing what you're doing, right, Will?
All right, keep doing.
I really appreciate it. And thanks a lot.
It's a great job.
You know, couldn't happen to the better man. I've been knowing Benji years and years to do a fine job. And what was that he need to do, Mr. Moore?
Keep doing what you're doing.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, we'll also recognize a resolution of appreciation from the city of Kinston, North Carolina, for services provided by Griffin Power in response to Hurricane Irene damage. Director of Electric Bill Bosch will address. Good evening.
Good evening, everybody. I'll be very quick. I just wanted to, I received a letter from the city of Kingston, North Carolina, back in August. You know, Hurricane Irene hit, and we deployed crews for assistance with public power and electric cities of Georgia. And not only did they send me a letter of special thanks, they also did a resolution of appreciation for our line crews that went. If I could have the line crews join me up here real quick. I'll read it very briefly. Whereas the city of Kingston has owned and operated its own electric system for over 100 years and has provided quality municipal services in the face of many natural disasters. And whereas Kingston has experienced hurricanes, floods, and droughts over the years and relied on its employees and volunteers to lend their time and energy to help in recovery efforts, enabling the city to restore municipal power and services swiftly and efficiently. Whereas destruction throughout the region was massive, and despite numerous power outages and obstacles faced by our employees, municipal services were temporarily or permanently restored within days. Whereas the city acknowledges that without the aid of its sister public power agencies, immediate recovery efforts would have been substantially prolonged. Now, therefore, to be resolved that the city of Kingston expresses its heartfelt thanks and overwhelming gratitude to Griffin Power and the city of Griffin to help the city of Kingston after the Hurricane Irene. And with special thanks, and from me and the city, where's Mike? Also going hand in hand with recent safety awards that you guys are doing a great job, and we thank you very, very much.
Amen.
I'd just like to say a couple of things. These guys always get kudos for being around here. When the guys go out of town, I hear kudos too, that they're very professional and they do excellent work. And I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make us proud.
At this time, we would like to recognize Industrial Development Authority Chairman Chuck Copeland, who will come and update the Commission on activities of the Industrial Development Authority during the year of 2011. And we also would like to recognize that David Lucky, who is Director of the IDA, is here as well. Good evening. You're losing your audience.
Yeah, you know, actually, I told David I wasn't so intimidated about the thought of standing in front of my friends here in front of me. I was more concerned about what was going to be going on behind me. So I'm glad that the numbers thinned out a little bit. So that makes me a little less nervous. I am Chuck Copeland, and I am your appointed representative to the Griffin Spalding Development Authority, and I have the pleasure right now of serving as chairman of the authority. I want to start by offering my apologies to our members of the press over here due to the repetition of a lot of my comments. A lot of this, some of them heard earlier when I spoke to a county commission meeting, so again, I apologize for the repetition in that. I want to thank you for allowing us the time, though, on your agenda to bring you up to date on some of the activities of the Development Authority over the past 18 months or so. I'm going to be very brief in my report, but I wanted to cover a fairly broad period of time because any of you that have been involved in the business of economic and industrial recruitment know that the life cycle of these projects many times is 12 to 24 months in length, and I think the average is 15 months. So I want to carry you back long enough so that we can get to some meaningful work that we've done. I want to commend Mayor Todd, who has been a stalwart attendee to our authority meetings, and I'm sure brings back a lot of knowledge to you all already of the things that we do, and but we really do appreciate her being there at those meetings and also the input that she provides to us in our meetings. But also I want to thank the rest of this board as well as the city staff for the collaboration that we enjoy as an authority as we're recruiting prospects, particularly in the area of water, sewer, and other utility discussions many times, and again, particularly if this prospect happens to be potentially domiciled entirely within the city limits of Griffin, as we run into those from time to time. I'm going to give this overview. As I said, if you have any specific questions after I'm done, David Lucky is here, and he probably has some more precise answers for you to some of those questions. But over the course of 2010 and 2011, the authority has responded to and worked with 34 potential new projects, ranging from new facilities to relocations to expansions. And those 34 projects that we've worked with over that period of time represented a potential of $2.4 billion of capital investment and the possibility of 7,500 new jobs. So we have been very busy, and there is significant activity going on out there. Of those, we were successful in closing transactions with 4 for a total of $151 million in new capital investment in our community and the creation of 302 new jobs. 14 of the projects that we worked with during this period are no longer active projects, meaning that they either were canceled, postponed, never really materialized beyond the initial stages, or regretfully chose to locate in a community other than Griffin or Spalding County. And we currently have 16 active projects that we continue to work with at some stage in the process right now. I mentioned the 4 that we were successful in announcing. Run over those quickly. Griffin RESA, the Regional Educational Services Administration, relocated their warehouse, and we offered bonds for that project. It was a $500,000 investment, and as a result, they were able to save 6 jobs by relocating to a facility more suitable for their needs. The Welsh Companies was a new business to Griffin, which came in last year. They are in the Hudson Industrial Park, and they are in the business of reconditioning and refurbishing concrete mixers and also selling parts for concrete mixers. They invested $500,000 initially in their facility and created 20 new jobs in bringing that business to our community. HK Logistics is under construction right now in the Green Valley Industrial Park. This is a 160,000 square foot warehouse facility. There'll be a $30 million capital investment there between building and equipment when that facility is finished, and 70 new jobs planned for that facility. Probably our most proud moment, even though we're proud of every one of these, was Caterpillar, as you all know, announced a major plant expansion within the last few months. Our community was recognized by the Georgia Economic Developers Association for the Deal of the Year for having landed this project, $120 million capital investment 206 additional jobs that Caterpillar will add as a result of this expansion to their facility and the new line that they're bringing on. Mentioned that we do lose some prospects, and unfortunately the business of industrial recruitment is not so much a game that you're out to win every day. It's a game of not being eliminated, because sometimes you'll start on a list that may have as many as 30 or 40 communities in multiple states, and you just try to stay in the game as that gets smaller. But some of notoriety that you may have heard about that went to other communities or never happened, but got some press. We've had two prospects in the looking at the NACOM building over the last, again, 18 to 24 months, both of which eventually made it into the press during the process, which sometimes can be problematic. But one of them was a solar panel manufacturer that we worked with for quite some time. However, we don't believe that project has ever materialized. We worked with them, as I mentioned, for, goodness, more than 2 years, but we don't believe that project has ever materialized. The other project of great significance that was looking at the NACOM building was Otis Elevator, and one that we were very disappointed to have lost. We lost that to the state of South Carolina and the community of Florence, and even though they were very impressed with our presentation, the quality of the workforce, the facility, unfortunately, the level of incentives being offered at the state level in South Carolina are substantial compared to the incentives that we were able to bring forward in terms of cash. And that is an important issue when we're looking with these prospects. There becomes a point of diminishing return as you're recruiting these prospects in terms of incentives. And sometimes you just have to put up your best shot, and if that doesn't win the deal, you just have to walk away so that it's not detrimental to the community. Another project that you may have heard of, located in Meriwether County within the last few months. Mando is the name of the company, and they're in the auto parts business. Again, we worked with them. However, they made it clear when they came in the door that proximity to Interstate 85 was going to be critical to their decision, and as hard as we tried, we could not move I-85 any closer than it is right now, so unfortunately that was one we weren't successful in. We're currently working with 5 local industries who are considering expansions of their existing operations, and we'll be very involved in that and trying to make that happen for our workforce here in Griffin. And we also continue to work very actively with the UGA Griffin campus and trying to bring to the community a food technology center. And we do believe at this point we remain in the budget at the state level for some funding that could make that happen, and we stay very involved in it. Again, thank you all for letting me bring this brief overview of our activities, and thank you for your time. And if you've got any questions, we're here.
Are there any questions?
In regards to the Big Shanty property, when do you foresee the community center or the nature center and walkways and parkways being open to the public too?
Can you tell about the partnership yet?
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
I could not commit to a timeline on that, Doug, because initially when we looked at what the costs were going to be to do some renovations and all, and in light of that was kind of a pay-as-you-go in our bucket, we weren't comfortable with the cost associated with what we may have to spend to just proceed whole hog with the renovation initially. What we've decided to do at this point, and we voted under it at our last meeting, is we are going to be engaging Georgia Tech to do a marketability study on the entire Lakes of Green Valley project. We know how to sell industrial. What we don't know is what are we leaving on the table in terms of selling green. And the Lakes of Green Valley is the first and only green industrial park in Georgia at this point where we are going to offer incentives related to environmentally friendly practices. So we are asking, as part of that study that Georgia Tech is doing, to bring into that Big Shanty facility and see what is the most appropriate use for that. Is it for a community-type building that can be used for a multitude of events? Is it for some sort of green demonstration facility so that when prospects come into the park, we have the ability to show them, for example, energy-efficient skylights or impervious, or pervious, I guess it would be, parking lot surfaces and the like that might be, and it may be that we can combine the two. It may be that we have a demonstration facility there and also serves a greater community use and need. So anyway, that's in that study that we're about to undergo with Georgia Tech. Long answer without a whole lot of specific timeline, but that's where it is.
But the main thing is we've got a quality institution that will help us in marketing it, and their audience is much larger than ours.
And when I say we don't know how to market green, what we hope that they'll bring back to us is make us more aware of what may be out there in the way of federal incentives and so forth that we can add to our arsenal as we're recruiting business that might be important to them, but really are at no cost to the community, and end up with a better product out there in the park.
Any other questions?
I don't want to put you on the spot or anything, but outside of dealing with utility rates and whatnot, how can this board help in this any part of this process? I think the easy thing when we come in to always say is, you know, we want to help bring industry in here, but then it becomes unclear on how we actually can play a part in doing that. Do you have any general ideas of whatnot of how we can help support that process?
One of the things that comes up quite often in the initial stages of recruitment are things such as ease of permitting processes and so forth. And I know we have come up with this concept of the one-stop shop permitting, which is already well underway and is working. In fact, HK is actually building out of the county right now. Went through that process and it worked very well. So that's a way that government can help us is by facilitating that process. The other is in the area of potentially having to get aggressive sometimes with fees and so forth and involved, whether it be impact fees, building permit fees, or anything where there may be some discretion. And I will tell you, I've been involved in, I don't know, a half a dozen, I guess, project recruitments in my time on the authority, where we were on a very short timeline and we needed to get the folks in the room that can make a decision with regard to whether it be tax abatements, utility rates, availability of utilities, whatever the question was, and so far, at least in my time on the authority, it has worked. This has been a very collaborative effort that's taken place there. So I guess the answer to that would just be stand willing to do what you've been doing in the past, and know that sometimes we need flexibility and we need that extra little hint that it takes to push one of these over the top.
Right, and the Industrial Development Authority involves Kenny as our representative of the city in recruitment and talking to potential clients, and I know he and I both have tried to talk to the one on the Otis Elevator to get them to reconsider, and choose Griffin instead of Florence, my former home. But but anyway, it's a matter of we do coordinate. We don't hear a lot at times, and this is the reason that we're inviting the Industrial Development Authority to come in now and to give us these reports so that when we serve on these committees, we're there and we are working.
And I will echo what Mayor Todd said. Kenny is just as there just as much as the mayor is. He's very involved in our meetings on a monthly basis, and many times, a lot of times these prospect visits are very cloaked in silence, and the prospect wants it that way. And a lot of times we're not even introduced to the prospect. We're only dealing with their consultant. And to show you how trusted and important, though, Kenny is to our process, I would say in many of those visits, Kenny is there as a part of our small squad that is working with those prospects.
Right. And also, he works closely with Adam of the Downtown Development Authority. So it is a team effort, and we appreciate, Chuck, you coming tonight and updating the entire board and the community.
Glad to do.
Thank you.
Mr. Amin's back here as well. You still serve as vice chairman, or you're still on the Development Authority?
He's still on the
He is,
Development Authority.
in fact,
Yes, he's our
Daoud
appointment.
chairs our long-range planning committee, and it was
Thank you,
Daoud's
Daoud.
committee that brought forth the recommendation recently to commission the Georgia Tech study on the green marketability.
Thank you, David.
Thank you all.
Thank you. And thank you, David, for coming. Our next order of business is to review our popular, I love that, our popular annual financial report, financials for October 2011, and the revenue status report for October 2011. Marcus will address. Good evening.
Good evening, Madam Chair, Commissioners. This year marks another milestone for the city in that we were able to deliver the popular report in December rather than in January as in prior years. So we're a step ahead of the game, I think, and I'd like to be able to maintain this pace for the next couple of years. So kind of set the standard here.
Well, I will say this is about the snazziest financial report I've ever seen. It's way beyond a bunch of numbers in a financial report.
It really is nice.
I don't know if you can call a financial report sexy or not, but this is close.
Well,
It's just something
remember the person who said that.
Is this something that you're available for the public, or?
That is the intent. Yes, it is on our website. And we'd like to make it available perhaps to the library, to the school board,
Yeah.
county, and perhaps even make it available at the Welcome Center, have copies perhaps distributed to the businesses if that's something we desire to do. There may be a little bit of printing expense, and we need to set some money aside for that if we want to do that.
Is this online?
Yes, it is.
So they can look at it?
PDF.
Okay.
Yes. Actually, this was created, and I'll give away the secret, created in PowerPoint.
It's nice.
It is. It's
Converted
marvelous.
to PDF. All right, just going through the report real quick. We have a couple introductory pages and a table of contents on page 3. 4 identifies our mission, the vision, the values, and then on page 5 we go into just some quick facts about the city of Griffin, population, operating budget for 2010, roughly $95 million. 2011 millage rate, 8.636. Combined millage rate of 42.956, and sales and use tax rate. Page 6 gives us the location, or at least an image, of where we are in relationship to perhaps Atlanta and Macon. 7 obviously is all our leadership. And 8 is the primary goals of the city, And then, of course, we have on page 9 the awards for the financial reports for the CAFR, the comprehensive report, this report, the popular report, and some of the recycling programs. For example, we were recognized as the most innovative recycling program in the state of Georgia, and gold awards for the water and wastewater treatment plants. And electric department received the 2011 Work Safe Award out of 51 municipalities. And then we have a couple other recognitions, such as from North Carolina and the restoration efforts connected with Hurricane Irene. And 10 summarizes our services that we've offered or offer to our customer base, which both residents and businesses alike, and permits, etc. And we are on Facebook, so you see those colorful splash there for Twitter and Facebook and our logo there. And we also have some of the amenities such as the swimming pool and the golf course, etc. Solid waste recycling programs on page 11. Page 12 is really where we start getting into more of the financial side of the information. It takes that huge comprehensive report and condenses all that down to just a handful of numbers. For example, in assets, the current assets and other assets, that's all cash and receivables for $52 million at the end of the year, and capital assets of $135, and that's net of depreciation, net book value, if you will, for a total of about $187 million. And then we have some associated liabilities with that, and the net assets then is 101. On the financials, continuing on page 13, that summarizes our 2011 combined or citywide revenues and expenses. Again, the net is 101 increase.
Non-current liabilities, that's the debt?
Sorry, say again, sir?
The non-current liabilities, is that mainly the bonds?
Yes, sir. Bonds and the notes on the building, the $4-point-something million left on the building. And then, of course, we have some capital leases in there.
Capital leases.
Capital leases, vehicles, etc., fire trucks, things of that nature. Moving on to page 14, gives you a breakdown of, or the composition of the revenue sources and the different funds associated. And if we look at that little slice, about 3 o'clock position, general fund represents about 18% of the total revenue stream. And then we break down the general fund into 3 primary categories: charges for service, property taxes, and other taxes. And page 15 gives us a picture of the revenue in relationship, total revenues in relationship with total expenses by fund. Governmental funds, the enterprise funds such as water, wastewater, electric, solid waste, and our non-major enterprise funds such as Welcome Center, golf course, airport, etc. Page 16 is an interesting one because for most people it's just a line going across and there's a red one and a blue one or a green one, whatever. One's higher than the other. The nice thing about this one, it shows you how much the general fund can bear to take on an additional debt if it needed to. Now, it is thin. I don't consider this a very big spread. However, it looks like we have a capacity of about $4 million that we can take on somewhat comfortably. However, that's not my recommendation. There's a legal limit, and then there's where we are today. The legal limit is set based on the 10% of the property tax assessment. And page 17 gives us a composition of the staffing levels over time. See, we've had some fluctuations there. And the last page 18 there gives us contact information, and page 19 describes why we do the report. And for the primary reason is to be able to condense the comprehensive report, which is so technical. All the accounting language and mumbo jumbo and the acronyms, as everybody likes to use, they get lost in translation when the average person looks at it, a non-financial person looks at that report. So we try to present this information in a more pictorial perspective. A picture's worth 1,000 words.
Always. Let me ask you, if we get the public, the media, to announce that the public, if they would like a copy of this, can come down and pick up one, would we be able to do that?
We'd have to have a few on hand. However, yes, we could do that. And it is available on the website under the Administrative Services Finance Department. under financial reports. All the reports from way back that we have available have been PDF in that format and then loaded to the website.
Right. The beauty of this is, especially those people who do not really care about going on the computer, is you can sit down with a pencil and you can go through this, and it's, more physical.
I have to comment on the salient part of this, in my opinion, and that's with Vallejo, California bankrupt, and Harrisburg, and all those other cities and states out there that are, if not bankrupt, virtually so.
Yes.
That the city improved their net asset value last year by $10 million. And I think that's a tribute to Kenny and all of our management team, that they've cut and squeezed, made do with less, and really tough financial discipline. But when you can increase your net asset value in this kind of an economy, with real tough fiscal discipline, I think that's a real tribute to our team, and I'm very proud of that.
All right, that being said, let's move ahead into the balance sheet, the cash balance report. At this time, we're going to review the financial statements. You'll see that there are a couple shorts on a few of the accounts, and those have since been cleared, that those are timing differences between when we actually collect the deposit versus when we post the money into the account versus when we issue the check. We have the cash on hand. It's just the timing of when that transaction took place at the bank. So, for example, we'll issue the check on the 31st and initiate the transfer from one account to the other to cover it. If the bank gets the instruction after 2 p.m., then it's recorded the next day, even though we executed the transaction on that day. So that's in the 2009 CDBG account and the 2010, and also in the SPLOST fund. Those have since been corrected. The SPLOST fund for $35,000 were 2 checks that were issued in October. We have since requested reimbursement from the Bank of New York in November, and that money did hit our bank in November. So the balance in the account is roughly $400,000, which was dispersed in December. So that's cleared out. Let me check my notes here. Moving on then, do you have any questions about any specific funds on the cash balance report? Moving into the local option sales tax, that's the sheet that presents both the local option and the special purpose sales tax. The local option appears to be coming in on target, and these numbers are coming in slightly ahead of the game, and we're projecting a slight positive contribution at the end of the year. At this time, you'll see that in the revenue projection report. Also, on the special purpose local option sales tax, it shows that we have collected roughly 53% based on the 4 months of collection. We changed that methodology to reflect that because there are 4 months where there is no collection, and that collection is funneled off to satisfy the capital construction bonds for Spalding County. So we don't get that money. So what we did was we said, okay, we're going to disregard those 4 payments, and we're just going to look at the 8. And we collected 4 months out of the 8 months of collections. And that gives us roughly 53%. And if we estimate that out at that level of performance, it looks to be approximately a 7.7% over expectation, so over budget, or roughly $127,000 to the good at this time, based on the need. I have to qualify that. The next page is a summary of the projects and the expenditures associated with each project. Any questions? No, okay. And then on the final document on the financial statements is the citywide statements by fund for the whole, for the city as a whole. We have revenues and we have expenditures. We're pretty much on target at 33%. In some cases, we're coming up a little bit higher on the revenue stream, and that's good. The expenditures, again, are running a shade low, and that's par for the course. Now, the one thing I do want to point out is that when we do payroll, we post payroll weekly. When we prepare the budget, we create a 12-month budget. So we take the whole year, divide it by 12 parts. The point that I'm trying to get to is that not every month is going to have exactly the same amount of weeks. With Ms. Todd, you may be familiar, Mr. Morrow, and some others. There's a 4-4-5. There's 26 weeks, 13 weeks, 13 weeks. So every 3 months you're going to have the same amount. So there'll be a slight variation in the percentages there because of that. Any questions on the overall financials?
On page 23, interest income, we budgeted $100,000 and it's showing year to date $168,957, but this past month to date was negative $32,000. So we up.
Okay, I apologize. I wasn't able to.
Page 23.
Yes, I'm there.
Interest income down under non-operating income expenses.
Yes.
Says year to date we have $169,000 in interest income.
Yes.
We projected $100,000, so
That's
after
correct.
4 months we're already at 169. But
Yes.
that is accurate.
That is correct.
Okay.
I've had several meetings with Sean Kane, with Morgan Stanley. We've restructured the investments. We've repositioned. We've called some of the callable ones. We've basically liquidated some of those investments that are non-performing anymore, and we've put them to better use. And now that's because of those decisions, we're now deriving up cash flow and dividends and interest income again. A portfolio cannot sit in just one single type of investment. Once it exceeds its useful life, we have to liquidate and reposition and get it back to work.
But why does month to date have a negative $32,000?
So that's a loss that was incurred in the portfolio?
Okay, so we're going up and down.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
That's market activity.
Just one.
Yes.
And then in a minute you're going to get into your financial reports. You've still got Morgan Keegan. Do they still have access? Do they still have our money?
Oh, do I still show Morgan
You're
Keegan?
still showing Morgan Keegan,
Those
some other.
accounts need to change the name.
Okay, so
That's
the
all
name
they are.
change.
Yeah, there is no more money at Morgan Keegan.
Just wanna
It
make
is at
sure.
Morgan Stanley. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Good point.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. Any other questions from the commissioners?
Do we want to discuss the status report, or are we okay with that?
Yes, please, unless someone wants to, we don't have to unless someone asks a question or would like
Well,
to.
I just want to give you kudos. This again is a really slick,
Everything is, yeah.
it's great.
Excellent.
Yeah, I sat there this weekend doing stuff in the little graphs and so on. It was very helpful to understand, so nice piece of work here.
Thank you. Our goal is to give you guys as much information, quality information that we can.
Right. Again, the status report is great reading, and you know, the public would probably thoroughly enjoy reading this, those that are particularly, concerned about our finances and things like that of the city. So I think that anyone that would like a copy, we should make a copy available to them.
So am I understanding that it is the board's desire to have this report published as it becomes available, place it on our website?
Unless there's something proprietary, it's good.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll have it posted by the end of the week.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Marcus.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. At this time, I will open the floor for comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to a concern within the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for unlimited expression of opinion. The chairperson reserves the right to limit comments for matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff for resolution. Having said that, is there anyone on my left who would like to come forward and make a comment? Is there anyone on my right who would like to come forward and make a comment? Okay, if not, then we will go into public hearings. Public hearings are conducted to allow public comment on specific advertised issues such as rezoning, ordinances, policy development, operating budgets, and other legislative actions to be considered by the Griffin City Commission. At this time, we will receive comments regarding a conflict of interest statement for the City of Griffin's Community Development Block Grant, CDBG 2012 Public Facility Grant Awards. Frederick Gardner will address. I'll read this too. The City of Griffin is a Community Development Block Grant applicant for 2012 Public Facility Grant in an amount not to exceed $500,000. 24 CFR Part 85, 85.36B3 states in relevant part, no employee, officer, or agent of a grantee or sub-grantee shall participate in the selection or in the award or administration of a contract supported by federal funds if a conflict of interest, real or apparent, would be involved. In making application for the 2012 CDBG Public Facilities Grants, Commissioner Douglas S. Holberg, in a duly convened regular meeting of the Board of Commissioners held November the 8th, 2011, at which the submission of application for the grant was considered, publicly disclosed he and related persons or other entities controlled by him owned one or more tracts of real property within the CDBG target area and voluntarily recused himself from any further involvement regarding CDBG funding. In addition, all commissioners have disclaimed any involvement in the process of selecting the target area for the application. The City of Griffin is requesting the Georgia Department of Community Affairs, which administers the CDBG program, to issue an exemption for the conflict of interest held by Commissioner Holberg. If the exemption is granted, Mr. Holberg will continue to abstain from participating in and voting on any issue relating to the 2012 CDBG due to his conflict of interest. Do I stop there?
Actually, the whole thing needs to go into the record, but
Okay, then I'll continue. CDBG projects must benefit at least 70% low to moderate income persons, aid in the prevention of slum and blight, and meet a community need of particular urgency, in this case, rehabilitating public water and sewer infrastructure. The 2012 target area, zones 4 and 5, have been repeatedly identified through studies as among the most blighted communities in the City of Griffin, with an inordinately large percentage of housing and rental occupancy. The 2012 CDBG target area was selected by the project engineer, Public Works Department, and Community Development Department, with guidance from the city's grant writing specialist. The members of the Board of Commissioners played no role in this selection. Georgia DCA regulations pertaining to CDBG administration require the city advertise and conduct this public hearing for the purpose of obtaining citizen involvement in order to complete its review of the city's request for an exception. Persons interested in commenting upon the grant of an exception may do so at this time. And also, we have a listing of real properties owned by or under control of Commissioner Holberg by virtue of family or business relationship. Now, do I need to read those?
no, you don't need to read them out.
Okay, all right, very good.
Just ask for comments.
Right, okay, this is a public hearing. We do need perhaps one citizen to make a comment, is that correct?
Well, if anybody wants to speak.
All right, if anyone wants to speak, otherwise, we will go forward with this.
Well, I would like to say that the little distressing part of this was there's some talk out there, I guess, that there must be something going on. And I'm here to say, as the rest of us would, that Mr. Holberg has done this exactly by the book, disclosed it, recused himself. I consider this a formality. And we have had other commissioners with property in these CDBG areas, and they did the same thing. They disclosed it, recused themselves, and followed the book to the letter of the law. So this is no different than anything else.
Right, and I've heard no disparaging comments whatsoever. or, you know, in relation to the advertisements in the paper. Okay, so in essence, then, we don't have to have public comment at this time.
Nobody can speak.
All right.
You can move on.
Ms. Herron raised her hand.
Shannon Herron, 413 Terrace Street, Griffin. I'd just like to say that I appreciate that the city has taken such diligent efforts to follow the rule of law so that there is no discrepancy later down the road about any conflicts of interest. I respect Mr. Holberg and his family's company in our community and appreciate that he contributes to our economy, and grateful that we have a process where citizens can participate in the process. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone else who would like to come forward and make a comment? If not, then Frederick, the floor is yours.
Yes, ma'am, real quick. As you know, over the last 3 to 4 years, we've been blessed with being awarded Community Development Block Grant at a tune of $1.5 million to conduct water and sewer infrastructure of our low-income areas in the city. What I gave you as part of that handout was the Zone 4 map, which is actually going to be our targeted area for the 2012 application, and that should be an aerial photo with a blue overlay on it. That's the actual target area. The next map that you should have is a color-coded map that we submitted to DCA to show them where we're going to be improving the water and sewer infrastructure over the coming years. This was submitted back in 2008, and as you know, we've gone through Zone 1, the area in yellow, Zone 2, the area in red, Zone 3, the area in orange, and now we're looking at Zone 4. And initially, we looked at Zone 4 and 5, but because of the scope of the program, we decided to scale it back to just Zone 4 for 2012, and we'll be pursuing Zone 5 in 2013. But this is good to have our commissioner in the area disclose ahead of time to make sure that we're in compliance. But this is just a formality that we have to go through. They've changed the rules, DCA a year or so ago. Now we're going forward with this process on the front end rather than on the tail end, as we've done in the past.
How soon will we start this project?
It's already moving forward, ma'am.
Okay, good deal.
Our application deadline is April 1st, and then we submit by that date. We typically hear whether or not we're awarded in the month of September.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're down to the consent agenda, and we have a correction, a revised revision of our minutes from the evening meeting on November the 22nd.
Madam Chair, if there's no objection, I move that we approve the entire consent agenda with the revised minutes.
Second motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second to accept the entire consent agenda. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous, 6-0, Judy. Thank you. All right, under our regular agenda, we will consider...
Excuse me just a minute. Do you want to tell us what the correction was to the minute?
It was presented here.
Yeah, it was presented to us, Mr. Commissioner McLemore's comments.
Here. I'm sorry.
This was revised, so it should have went in and...
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what the nomination, motion was.
Yeah, I thought I said that was
Okay.
You did.
revision. Okay.
Do you see it, Kenny?
Yes, ma'am, I have a copy, thank you.
Okay. All right, item number 9, consider request from the Griffin Main Street Program for the purchase of a portable audiovisual system in the amount of $12,995.98 from Liberty Technology for use in the park at 6 from Commission contingency and amend the budget accordingly.
Make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to
Yeah,
approve.
we did all at once, all consent
The
agenda.
consent agenda,
All right, we have a motion to approve and a second. Now it's time for discussion. And I had asked Daoud to come and explain the fact that where the equipment will be housed and who will have access to it. Thank you, Daoud. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Mr.
And I see Jean is here too.
133 North Hill Street. I'm sorry.
I said I noticed Jean is here also.
Yes, Jean is here, Ms. Birmingham, along with
Kira is
Main
here
Street
also.
Program Manager, Kira Harris-Gray. Once again, your question was?
the housing
Okay.
and access, and who would have access to it?
It will be housed at the Welcome Center unless the city deemed it should be housed somewhere else. But it'll be at the Welcome Center. Kira, the program manager, will be the one that has access to it, or if its needs, its uses, you'll have to do that through her office. The use of the equipment will be for the Main Street program and or any other city-related function if the city has a need for that particular use of the equipment, but it will be housed at the Welcome Center. And,
Right, and under the
and
auspices...
it also will remain in the ownership of the city of Griffin through the Main Street program. It will not be used or given its use to any other governmental agency unless they go through the Main Street program for its use of it, but it's...
Right, Main Street will assume the responsibility of the equipment.
Exactly, yes, ma'am.
Means Frederick's online.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you,
Thank you very
David.
much. Any
Thank
other
you.
questions?
All right, do we have any other questions?
No.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. The vote is 6-0, Judy. Thank you. Item number 10, request, consider approval of a consolidated bulk buy for the purchase of 40 desktop computers, 4 laptops, and miscellaneous peripherals from the Dell, Georgia State contract. The IT equipment will be purchased under the city's life cycle management program in the amount of $32,182. Marcus will address.
Madam Chair, I move we approve, and I applaud the savings of $15,000.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 11, consider approval a resolution adopting the revised 2011 Spalding County Pre-Disaster Hazard Mitigation Plan. We have a motion to approve.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Sorry, Tommy, thank you. All right, item number 12.
Put while you're ahead, Tommy.
Consider an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Griffin and Spalding County for transportation design and engineering services for projects in the North Hill Street Corridor Plan.
Motion approved.
Have a motion to approve and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Thank you.
And I think this is great, the city and county all going together for one project. This is smart business.
Okay. Item number 13, as long as it doesn't cost the city more money. All right. Consider approval of a resolution to amend the fiscal year 2011-2012 operating budget in the amount of $5,700 for the purchase of 8 receipt printers for customer service that will integrate into the Cogsdale customer information systems. Motion to approve.
Second, I have a question.
All right. Motion and a second. Now, discussion.
I think this is a good idea if I understand. That's these little machines that just print the receipt, and you don't have to run it through the computer and print a whole sheet of paper.
Yeah, you'll save money on paper and better serve the customer.
Great, okay.
So currently they are 8.5 by 11. What size would they be?
These are just the little, like the shopping tag printers that you get.
Great. Smart idea.
It was part of the original implementation. We're just now getting it.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Item number 14, consider a contract. Oh, we now have to vote. We have a motion and a second. Thank you. All in favor, please raise your right hand. 6-0, Judy. Thank you. Item number 14, consider a contract with Republic Intelligent Transportation Services Incorporated for the maintenance of city-operated traffic signals.
I move we approve, and I have a question.
Right. All right, we have a motion and a second, and I'm glad we have a question.
Is this-
Go ahead.
Is this the red light camera or just all the motion ones? The red light's a separate one?
All traffic signals.
All traffic signals.
Including the red light?
No,
No, not
red
the red
light
light.
cameras on DOT. These are our
Okay.
city street traffic signals.
All right.
And explain why, because we've gone to the motion sensors or the
We
eye
have
for
a
them.
number of traffic lights that we just kind of piecemeal over the years. And we've never really had a program to keep a good maintenance of our traffic lights. So that's what this contract is for.
Right.
For basic maintenance and making sure that we keep them, because we've been robbing Peter to pay Paul, and so this is just for us to do a better job of maintaining those lights.
Right, as Mr. Smith explained it to me, the traffic lights have gotten complicated. And so we need someone to uncomplicate them, and this person will do that.
Yeah, I'm sure they have.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. It is unanimous. Thank you. Item number 15, consider awarding bid and agreement with Rehab Construction in the amount of $87,750 for repairs to Harry Simmons Water Treatment Plant Filter number 4, and by resolution amend the budget accordingly. Brand is here in case we have any questions.
I move we approve and...
Second.
And I noticed that the other budget for the drawdown of the digester was way under budget. What goes?
Basically what happened was I got with Mr. Beasley and we were having a problem 5 years ago when we did the drawdown on the digester, and we found a less intrusive way and a less expensive way to draw down on the digester and not have a nitrogen problem that's thrown into the plant and stay in permit versus being out of permit the last time we did it.
Well, $120,000 savings is either bad budgeting or really clever new idea.
Did some additional research after we got the first price on it, and after doing the research, found out it was a better way to go and less intrusive on the permit.
Well, kudos.
Yes. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Okay, it is unanimous. Thank you. City Manager. And Ms. Ward has to go because she's got a daughter that's got a recital tonight, right?
All right.
Board appointments, we'll be advertising those the next couple of weeks, so be thinking about who you will be considering for board appointments, as that'll come up the first meeting in January. To answer a couple of questions this morning, I went over and looked at the medical building on College today. It does have a back door.
Good.
And a backside door as well. It does have an abundance of landscaping, but because it's kind of dormant right now, it's kind of hard to see it with the leaves gone and the grass dead. The dumpster is very large, and it will be nice. It does have a full-size roll-off container in it now, so they can't shut the doors. It's too big. But once they get through with construction, they'll put two regular containers in there where the doors will shut, and it'll be nice. So I think I answered those questions. The hospice, 14th and Taylor, is just an office. They're just using that for an office where the nurses, they actually provide home hospice, so only nurses and staff will be using that for an office. It's not an inpatient hospice facility. And I had some questions about Comcast closing their customer service center on every end, and I've talked to them, and they have consolidated 3 customer service centers into one center, which is located in Morrow. They have assured me that their call center will assist customers. Customers can ship the boxes or the remotes or anything to them that may need repair or replacement. And also, they'll be able to handle bill paying through the mail and in any Western Union. So,
as my understanding, and this has been echoed by a couple others, that contractually they were required to keep an office open here. Is that?
It's part of their franchise agreement that we initially had with Insight, who was the initial cable provider. They are in the process of completing their application for a statewide franchise agreement, which, by my understanding, alleviates them from having to have a franchise agreement with each location, and they have a statewide one which covers all their jurisdictions, and part of that franchise agreement will eliminate that particular requirement.
When is their franchise agreement up?
It's not really up, because the only one we have with them is through Insight, which is so old the paper's yellow. So it's kind of an automatic renewal.
About 97, 98.
It's pretty old, and it's an automatic renewal and doesn't have an expiration date.
So AT&T is not a franchise?
No. You'll recall the state passed what they call the statewide franchising law about maybe 4 years ago for AT&T. They lobbied heavily for that. And we were all afraid then that these other local cable companies were going to do the same thing.
Right, I've really had some discussions with people very unhappy because, they did not know. There was no, I don't think there was a public notice.
I think you're going to see a difference in the level of service that they provide and also the revenue comes back into the city.
But I did argue that point with them, but I think they have the upper hand on us here.
They do, yeah.
I did point that out to them and had a lengthy conversation with their governmental affairs representative, much to no avail. Other than that, the office will be closed for the holidays on Friday before Monday after Christmas and Monday after New Year's, and I hope everyone has a good holiday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Drew.
Merry Christmas.
Same to you. You here?
Yeah, I just like to wish everybody happy holidays and say that I enjoyed working with y'all this year, and I look forward to next year. And also, I want to see if we can get some bigger city of Griffin, but this is very small here.
The young people can see it.
It becomes a target for a badge.
Well, they didn't like the other one because it looked more like jewelry, and I loved the other one, so I don't know, that's something maybe we ought to discuss at some point, yeah.
I have John Joyner on my radio program in the morning. We're going to tell everybody what good work they're doing at the land bank, so
Sounds
that
good.
should be interesting. And also for all of our usual suspects out there, Merry Christmas, and for those back here, same. Hope you have a great season.
Thank you. Doug?
To Kira and city staff that decorated downtown Griffin this year, you did a great job. We had a great downtown tree lighting ceremony. Griffin High School Choir is now up to, I think, 70 or 80 members now, and we probably had, how many, 85? 85, so we had probably close to 300 to 400 people for the event. So again, staff, great job in decorating downtown. And tell Roy thank you for cleaning the windows above the customer service awning. It looked very nice. And Merry Christmas to everybody. Thank you.
Ryan?
Well,
You're deserted.
yeah, I know. I probably should have said something earlier because I'm going to miss Will being my neighbor here, and apparently I'll start missing him sooner since he left. But I did appreciate the time that we had on this board together. I can easily say anytime someone comes and asks us, how's it going? How you enjoy being on the city board, and it's an easy thing to say that I know each one of the people that are on this board very much care about Griffin and the people in Griffin. I can say that definitely for Will as well. So I appreciate it.
Right. He whispered that it was an affair that his wife, they were attending tonight. Cynthia had a recital. We do have another life besides being a city commissioner. I'd like to commend Tommy Jones, Chief Strickland, Kenny Smith. I got to participate in the kickoff of a program that's going to take place at UGA Griffin campus in January, this coming January, that will be bringing 30 to 40 people into our community for a week at a time to study about homeland security. The UGA Art Kane was also a participant in this, but this will really give visibility to UGA Griffin campus. And we've got employees here that constantly seek grants and seek outside influence that are good. I can't think of another program that will benefit Griffin as much as what Tommy and Kenny and Chief Strickland has developed with this program. The name of it escapes me, Tommy. I've asked the media to please interview you and let the public know what's coming down the road next month. What is the name of it? Okay. Now, you give that to the media and then let them interview you on it. But we thank you for taking the time, and Chief Strickland, to develop a program is not easy, and one that's accepted by an esteemed organization like UGA is pretty fantastic, and we appreciate that. I also wish everyone a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.